I don't even know what that means.
You just said it multiple times, then you're like, presents and stuff.
You got this. You got this.
Alright, you ready? Alright, so when I say the word feminism, what comes to mind? For some, it might be Susan B. Anthony, and for others, it might be a woman refusing to shave her armpits. Whatever the case, feminism is defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary as the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. And while this sounds like a good cause of support, today it is beginning to veer away from equality. I can show you this because I've done countless hours of research from such sources as Who Sold Feminism by Dr. Christina Summers and Caroline News' article on what oppression really is and who oppresses. College is a time of self-exploration. For many of us, it's our first time when we're truly on our own, so that we can make our own, we can discover our own ideologies and make our own belief systems. At this point in our life, we should be questioning all the ideals that we hear, so that we can get the most information and create the most well-rounded opinion. And feminism is one of those ideals. Feminism has lost sight of its original intention. It's supposed to be women being equal with men, but instead it's created a misandry culture by lowering the standards by putting men down. There are three waves of feminism defined as follows by Martha Rampton, who is a professor of history at Pacific University, Oregon. The first wave of feminism was during the 19th and 20th centuries, and it was associated with the temperance and abolitionist movement. The first wave consisted mostly of middle-class white women, and they focused on the women's right to vote and women's participation in politics, which was a good thing at the time. The second wave of feminism began in the 1960s and went into the 1990s, which was around the same time as the anti-war and civil rights movements. And women during the second wave were much more radical than women in the first wave. They focused on issues such as the sexual and reproductive rights of women, as well as trying to get the Equal Rights Amendment passed. They also looked at the psychoanalytical theory, which critiqued oppression alongside patriarchy, capitalism, and the role of women as a wife and a mom, which also was a good thing that society needed. Third wave feminism began in the 1990s, and it was much different from the first two. It did away with the idea of a universal womanhood, which the first two waves focused on, and looks more at empowering the individual. And this is why feminism differs as a definition depending on who you ask. Some experts believe that equality has already been achieved in American society. And so third wave feminism has begun to create a culture of misandry in America. Misandry is defined as a hatred or dislike of men or boys. And according to Doris Lessing, who is a prominent feminist and an author, she told The Guardian about something that she observed in a second grade classroom. The teacher was doing a lesson on wars, and she observed that the teacher told the students that all wars begin because of the nature of men. Ever since the times of cavemen, society has been taught that men are stupid and violent creatures that need a woman in their life to keep them in check. And according to Paul Nathanson and Catherine Young's book, Spreading Misandry, they say that misandry is so hardwired in pop culture that people don't even notice that it's there, especially the men that it's targeting. And Nathanson, who has a PhD in religious studies and history, say that women are often portrayed as the victims in society, which leaves men to become the victimizers. And so in things like the media, TV, and comics, men are portrayed as stupid. A great example of this is the TV show The Simpsons, where Homer is an idiotic alcoholic who works 9 to 5 and then he either comes home and causes problems, or he just goes out to the bar with his buddies and causes more problems. While his wife is the one who stays at home and makes sure that everybody gets the things done that they need to. And the same idea is also portrayed in their kids. Bart is a troublemaker in elementary school and he doesn't care about his grades or about his future, whereas his sister Lisa is the polar opposite. Even in elementary school, she's a goody two-shoes, and the thing that she focuses on the most in life is trying to get into an Ivy League college. And so past waves of feminism had clear goals to accomplish. However, the third wave the third wave has shown that men are privileged and immune to victimization, but this is not the case. Misandry caused by feminism has created double standards. On a TV show called What Would You Do, they ran a social experiment in a park. They had a woman who was both physically and verbally abusing her boyfriend, and out of 108 people that walked by, none of them stopped to help the man. When asked why they didn't stop, most people said, "Oh, I'm sure that he cheated. I'm sure that he had it coming." And so misandry is so hardwired in our minds that we automatically assume that the man did something wrong to deserve it. Due to the first and second waves of feminism, women have a right to a variety of birth control. However, if they do still get pregnant, it is legally their choice and their choice alone of what to do with the child. According to Neil Linden, who's a writer for The Telegraph, a man has no say legally of what should be done with a child. And he also claims that if you try to suggest that a man should have a little bit of say, third-rate feminists immediately label you as an enemy of a woman's unalienable right to her body. And so if women are pushing, or if third-rate feminists are pushing for more power for the individual woman, aren't they oppressing men in the process? According to Dr. Laura, who authored a book called Proper Care and Feeding of Husbands, she says that in most marriages today, the women expect men to cater to the woman's emotional wants and needs, while the women forget that men too have emotional wants and needs. She also claims that women want to do away with the patriarchy and the oppression of men and would instead rather have a matriarchy where the women are in control. If you ever try to question a feminist statistic, you are immediately labeled as a woman hater and that you're against women's rights. A very popular statistic that feminists use is that women are oppressed because there aren't enough women in such fields as engineering or politics. However, Dr. Summers, who has a PhD in philosophy, claims that there's this gap not because they're oppressed, but because they have the freedoms. Women have the freedom nowadays to choose any career that they want, and overwhelmingly they are choosing more nurturing careers such as teaching or nursing. So feminism has done some great things in the United States, such as helping women obtaining the right to vote, equal positions in the workplace, and obtaining different freedoms for their health choices. Third-rate feminism, however, has no place in American society. Nowadays, we have female judges, female doctors, female professors. We've even had a female Secretary of State, a female one for Vice President, and a female one for President. So in my opinion, equality has been achieved. And yes, there will always be struggles and new inequalities in society, but I don't believe that gender will be one of them.